What's up, guys? Today we're gonna be talking about how I feel right now, because in all honesty, I don't feel too good about what's going on with the UFC. And I'm sad to say that because a couple of months ago I was in love with the product that I was seeing. I was maybe it was just the period of time that was going on, but I was enjoying everything that was going on. And I just feel I don't know. I'm just not feeling it anymore. I didn't make a video on last weekend's event, Strickland versus Hernandez, because I mean there really was only a couple fights to care about when you're really looking at it. I thought about making a Sean Strickland title shot video because I'm still very upset about Hamzat. By the way, on the last video, thank y'all so much for everyone who watched that. It was so crazy to see the first 24 hours it had no views, and then in the past couple days it's gotten up to like 400 something. That's so awesome. Thank y'all so much. But yeah, I just, especially looking at this week, Lonar Kavanaugh versus Brandon Moreno. Look, I'm not trying to dick ride, but when Joshua Van jumps up from Lonar Kavanaugh was ranked 15th at some point. When Joshua Van jumps up from ranked 15th to fight Brandon Royval, that's cool. That's cool. That's some badass shit. With Lonar Kavanaugh, in my head, it's like, okay, you're kind of just like accepting an opportunity that was given to you because there's nobody else. So you're not stepping up. You just lost. And lost to a guy who also got flatlined by another, I don't know. I don't even want to make predictions for this video, but I'll just, as I'm looking through this, I'll label off a couple of them. I mean, obviously, Brandon Moreno is going to win this fight. He's fighting an unranked guy who just got flatlined by Lonar Kavanaugh in Mexico. It's kind of, it's impossible for me to stand up here and be like, I don't know, bro. Lonar Kavanaugh might flatline him. That just doesn't happen. So obviously we got the GOAT, David Martinez. That's the only reason I'm even talking about this is I love David Martinez. And yeah, I think, I don't love the Cheeto matchup for him. I think this might be a bit of a boring fight. Both these guys have the ability to throw down, but I feel like this one might end up a little bit boring just because, Cheeto likes to kind of push guys towards the fence, and then David Martinez will not have his back to this fence. He will just circle until he runs out of cardio, which, you don't love to see. But, and then just the rest of this, Bobby Green's cool. Daniel Zellhuber is like a borderline, he's like on the edge of kind of making that like ranked, well known lightweight kind of like area, but he's not there yet. And you just look at the rest of the card, and it's all just like Mexican guys just signed off off Dana White's Contender Series, having their first UFC debut, and then fucking Macy Chasson. I don't care. There's nothing here to care about. I care more about Damian Penis than I care about anybody else on this card. Who is it? Where's he at? Jose Daniel Medina. 0-3. I think it's 0-4. I think he lost on Contender Series too. Why we're just throwing people into Mexico. There's a reason Mexico's on fire right now, and it's because they have to watch this UFC card. They have to watch the guy they see every fucking September and every spring when the UFC decides to go to Mexico again. All right, kid, you're getting Brandon Moreno. Have fun. Oh, see, we love Brandon Moreno. No, we fucking hate this. This is terrible. Right? And then next week, okay, we finally get a break. We finally get back to the pay-per-views, get back to the big names. Hell yeah, it's fucking Max versus Charles. That's awesome. My Max Holloway t-shirt is in the mail. We're going to have a prediction video for this because I might talk about this fight for an hour. But then let's look down. Great main event. If we see right here, great main event. BMF title fight. Winner of this guy has reason to kind of be wedged back into a title shot, even though they've both been flatlined by Ilya. But Kyle Bahalio versus Rainer de Ritter? Didn't both of these guys just lose their last fight? Didn't one of these guys get 50-45 by a Mavov? And didn't the other one quit on the stool versus Brendan Allen? What? Why? Why is this the co-main? Obviously, Ortega versus what is it? Ortega versus Moicano fell out. The eagle got injured. The eagle got its feathers plucked. We won't discuss that, but T City had to pull out. But like this was a featured fight. Okay, featured fight. These are both had hype at one point middleweights. You know, Rainer de Ritter. We were talking about. He's goofy enough. He'd be good for a Drickus match if he won that fight with Brendan Allen. Not anymore. Same with Kyle Bahalio. You knocked out Paul Craig when that was somehow still impressive, and then you decision Jared Cannonier. And then you fight someone who's actually good in a Mavov, and you just don't do anything. And then you have fucking Raul Rosas Jr., Chiwiwi boy, is as the fucking featured fight. I thought we were done with this. I thought this was like a couple years ago thing, you know? He's not this like killer. He's fighting really bad people. And the past couple, he's been winning by unanimous decision, but he's not that good. El Nino no es problema. El Nino is not a fucking problem in my book, okay? Versus Rob Font, who also fought on the last Mexico card. Or just like, some of these guys are just stun locked in certain areas, but this just isn't a featured fight level thing, you know? Drew Dober, Michael Johnson, are we joking? I can't. And then this one's okay to be had off a main card. Cody Garbrandt is headlining the prelims. I love Cody Garbrandt. I really do. That is not it. This is not it. Like, I don't know. And then this card is also not that many. Ooh, Jusang Yu, love this dude. Except for he started clip farming at 320 and then made me look like a dumbass at Buffalo Wild Wings. But 3, 4, it's just the card is 12 fights, because of just everything that's been pulled off of it. It's just not that good. And then after that, after this mid pay-per-view, Josh Emmett versus Kevin Vallejos. Where is this at? I don't even. Yep, in the Apex, just where I thought. And there's just nothing else here. Ooh, Charles Johnson's fighting. That's super cool. It definitely didn't see him just die in the ring. I just like another one. We're just, dude, Michael MVP's pissing me off. These are just these are like what a Apex card looked like in August. This would be like an Apex card, and now this is a fight night, and this is the only good This is like the only like really good main event that we have, like flyweights, women's, what is it? Number one contender fight. We get to see Izzy try and like prove that he's not washed versus a like raging hot Joe Pyfer, and then Walter Walker. That's cool. This is like the only good one we have, and it's in Seattle, so that's cool. And then back to the fucking Apex. Moicano, you didn't want to fight next week? How about you fight in 4 months? I'm upset because all of this is building to one thing, and that's the UFC White House. I would love it if the White House was an amazing card. I would love it a lot more if it didn't completely ruin my year of MMA because we have to put on one big, like, massive card to pander to the President of the United States when we don't have any fucking American champions and Justin Gaethje doesn't count. Like, and here's the thing, it's not even going to be, like, that long of an event. It's going to be like UFC Noche at the Sphere. I feel like where it's going to be more focused on presentation and less like long of an event. So are we actually doing 7 title fights? Obviously Van versus Tyra is for 327 in Miami. But that's like, we have a lot of guys that aren't fighting right now. Hamzat's not fighting. Pereira's not fighting. Aspinall's not fighting. Islam's fucked off again. He took no damage. I like Islam as a guy, but he can get back in the ring. Obviously, Volk just fought. Justin Gaethje just fought. You know, Piotr Jan, we should be hearing about something starting to cook up. It's been 2 months already. I'd like to at least like know where we're going. You know, I'm just like, maybe it's Ilya Gaethje, but it's just like there's no amount of title fights and like high level fights you can put on that for me to go, okay, this one night was worth like making the past 4 months of MMA be mid, you know? How are you going to make one of the biggest events in 324 and have like this new era kick off? You have 2 back-to-back pay-per-views, a great event star-studded wise in UFC 324, and then a great event just the way it was designed in 325 with all the Australians, and having like all of them win and just be like a generally entertaining card outside of Tai Tuivasa. To then this, where we get, this was a terrible idea, throwing the first thing after being in the Apex. Terrible idea. You know, this one was okay. We cut a top 10 heavyweight after this. We cut, who else did we cut? What was his name? We cut Javid Baharash. Why? He won. He beat Johnny Vasquez, who's not a chump. This guy beat David Martinez in like the regional scene. And then we have Strickland Hernandez. You know, it's pretty cool. It's like, I didn't watch a whole lot of this because I just didn't care enough. And that's kind of crazy because I will watch anything. But I don't know. It just, nothing they were putting on was entertaining to me in this card, except for like these top 3 fights. And then you get to Mexico. It's like, yeah, we have 3 ranked fights, one of which is a women's bantamweight, which is arguably the worst division in the UFC, including women's and men's, worse than heavyweight. And then also this fucking badass pay-per-view numbered event 326, which should be, it's like a BMF event. The main card, dangerous. You know, not fucking Rainer de Quitter versus I don't know how to throw punches Kyle Bahalio. I'm just not interested in this. I don't know. This, like, I need to make videos, you know. The last one did super amazing, and that made me want to make videos more. But I get it now when YouTubers go just inactive for a long time, because it takes a lot to want to, you know, sit down and make one of these videos and kind of plot out what I want to talk about. And this sport is doing nothing in that regard of making me want to do this, making me feel like I want to get on the mic, get in front of a camera, and then go, you know, try and sell people. It was that fast that I kind of fell off of this. I don't feel like trying to sell people on, you know, I don't know, man, Leonard Kavanaugh might get it done. Actually, if you think about it, Leonard Kavanaugh has the best chance of beating Bueno Moreno. No, he doesn't. There's no point. It's done. Marlon Vera versus David Martinez. I will be watching this because I need David Martinez to win, because I want to see him fight Song Yadong, because that would be sick. Just 2 little blockhead bantamweight midgets just swinging at each other's cranium. That would be cool. But other than that, there's just nothing going on right now that's really cool. You know? We're getting like Apex fight night main events. You know, what would have been an Apex event last year, and we're throwing it in front of a crowd. And then half the broadcast is just ads. You know? I don't want to sit through a prelims fight when I know I'm going to watch 2 minutes of ads, see a finish, and then watch 5 minutes of ads to see the next fight, okay? Like, it's a tough, it got so much tougher to be into this. And also, half the shit I see on my TikTok For You page is a part of that problem, because this community absolutely blows. This community sucks. And there's just no, everyone is just trying to like make the most outrageous takes to become famous there. And it just makes me not want to like indulge. You know, I saw a TikTok today, this guy, Marauder MMA, he's on his podcast with his buddies, and he just goes, dude, you guys are living in recency bias. Jacare Souza beats Hamzat Chimaev. Brother, that's cool, bro. That's really cool. I don't know, just that like outrageous takes, and I feel like no one. It's impossible to have like an argument or a debate anymore, and I just, yeah, you know, I'm struggling to deal with this right now, but you know, hopefully this main event, this not main event, but this card turns out to be more fun than it is, and you know, if it is fun, people will say, oh well, dude, it was actually a really entertaining card. You're just a casual. It doesn't mean you get to build a card like absolute dog ass, and then just because everyone decides to get finishes doesn't make it like an A tier premium card. But yeah, I'll see y'all after this event. I'll see if I can try and get a video out on Sunday of what actually happened. I'll see if I'm being a little chudlet again and I decide to take another week off. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching to the end. If any of y'all are still here, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this. We got like a couple new subscribers off the last video. That was so awesome to see. I'm so happy that that video did really well, especially because I was pretty close to hanging up the gloves when that got 4 views through the first 2 days. So yeah, I'll see y'all next time, and yeah, happy hunting at this event, y'all. See y'all next time.